Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. Oh my gosh, you guys. So first of all, Happy New Year. I'm so happy to be back. Been gone for a couple of months working on Gumball Love in a whole new way. I am so excited to tell you the changes that I've made to this entire brand. And it's going to be rolling out all through February and really all through 2020. So for a long time, I've been telling you that Gumball Love is the appearance of connection hidden in temporary sugar highs. Maybe I haven't said it exactly like that, but that is the new clearest definition. So Gumball Love looks like connection, but it's really a bunch of sugar highs. But sugar highs can be really fun. And one thing I realized, and this is another huge change, is that we also are giving gumballs and receiving gumballs in the beginning. When you're falling into Gumball Love and you feel like it's real connection, more than likely you're in the same love language as he is, and you're also not realizing that you're not doing the things that build real and lasting connection. A lot of times, Gumball Love can be parallel to infatuation. A lot of the things that happen within infatuation are very similar to Gumball Love. Some of them, not all of them. But it's that fun, euphoric, exciting period where there's compliments, there's all the kisses, the sex, the whatever, all those things that make it seem like, oh my gosh, this guy has to be the one, right? I mean, when you have enough sugar highs, especially if somebody really is into you and you're really into them and you're inseparable, it can feel like, I always said and from the very beginning that the intense highs, and especially if there were a bunch of them every single day, all day long, that intensity felt like certainty. It felt like, oh my gosh, this has to be it. How can this not be it? And then when it wouldn't be it, when all the sugar highs were gone, I realized, oh my gosh, everything I thought was there wasn't. How could I have been so wrong? What exactly happened? And I've created a visual for you where Gumball Love kind of is like a mountaintop where you shoot way up to the summit and there's all of this excitement and euphoria, but you don't realize you can't really live up there. You can't sustain it. And true love lives more of like the base of the mountain where there's actually oxygen, right? But real love, people that actually have love that lasts 20, 30, 40, 50 years, theirs is much more steady. They don't have these big spikes or ups and downs that are dramatic. They're not having all of these highs and lows. It appears more steady. However, when you have been used to Gumball Love, where it's based on sugar highs, real love can seem like a downer because it doesn't have the highs, right? So if we are looking for the drug, which actually releases dopamine in our brain, so sugar, real sugar, releases dopamine, and so does attention. So at this point, I've told you, gumballs are any form of attention. But what I've done is I've broken them down into 8 categories. And so this doesn't mean that you're a gumball girl. I want to kind of take away the negative connotation that's behind that because, yes, we don't want to be a gumball girl that's just focused on getting attention and not be someone that's pursuing connection. And I don't think that's you. It wasn't me. But as I re-examined this, I realized that I was getting caught up in these gumballs not realizing, not knowing, no one ever taught me, hey, you know what, Melissa? This is what it's actually supposed to look like, and you're actually doing these things. So let me just dig in. Okay, so the first category is sex, or I kind of wanted these to be like candy hearts: sex me, chase me, entertain me, compete with her for me. So when you see sex me, I want you to think of the guy who, and I have this all written down for you so you can get this deck that I'm referencing. But it's the guy that always leads the conversation back to sex. Or if you are participating. So yes, a guy can lead a conversation back to sex, but am I participating? And then it's like a schmoopy conversation, but it's sexy. So gumball for gumball. Now, it doesn't mean that these conversations can never happen, but I'm just saying that when we look at, okay, is this relationship building connection, or are we always talking about sex? Is he sending me unsolicited penis pictures? Is he complimenting me always on my physical, my lips, your boobs, your butt? Is he asking you questions like, are you into friends with benefits? Or want to come over? Or I love the way those leggings look on you. Or he brings up porn or asks you questions about porn. This could also be a sex addict, but I don't want to get into those deep other addictions. I want you to just think of this in a more simplistic way, because if you have interest in studying sex addiction, by all means do it. I'm available for that conversation. But for the sake of Gumball Love and this description, this is the red gumball. Sex me. Everything comes back to sex. It's always about that. And so when you're talking to somebody and this is what they always bring you back to, there is that addiction to the high of how that makes them feel. I had a huge breakthrough also around why certain guys are always bringing it back to sex. And it's because sex is exciting and intense, but it doesn't force them to be vulnerable. So sex can you can get a lot of highs out of the conversation, out of the physical act, all the things that surround it: porn, strip clubs, prostitutes, threesomes, basically everything Christian Grey. There's a lot of different highs, but sex doesn't force you to be vulnerable, to show who you are. So a lot of guys come back to the sex me gumball. Give me that red gumball because it feels good, it's intense, and I don't have to tell you who I am. So this is just one flavor, all right? And a lot of people want the red gumball. It's the favorite one, so I picked red for the sex me. All right, so that's one category. The next one is, what about somebody that loves drama? So this is drama me, or give me drama. So the person who loves and is addicted to drama, they pick fights. They storm out. They stonewall. Or this guy can compliment other women in your presence, or try to punish you when you don't do what he wants you to do. He might pick on you for small things like the color of your nail polish, calls you crazy, or he uses the player technique called negging, where they say like, oh, so do you know that skirt's kind of out of style? And then it makes you feel like you have to defend what you're wearing. So this is a lot of times what guys will do in a pickup state, where this is a pickup artist technique. And they will choose a girl that's more beautiful than they're comfortable hitting on, and they try to get you to feel insecure. And that's when they feel like they have leverage to then move in and hit on you and hopefully get you into bed. And so a lot of times, though, that approach creates drama because you get mad, you defend yourself. Then he can say things like, "Oh, you're kind of feisty. Are you high maintenance?" So you see how quick all of a sudden he's getting drama, because they know how to provoke it, and that's what they love. There's excitement, there's intensity. With every single gumball, there's intensity behind it. And that intensity is attention. It's focused back on them. And so every time we look for a gumball, we're focused on ourselves and we're not focused on building the connection. So I'm going to go through what the opposite of these are, but I want to go through these pretty quickly. Next one is entertain me. A lot of times we've talked about gumball guys all day long on this podcast throughout the Back to You Academy. This one is so irritating. It was like so annoying doing these descriptions because you just can picture all these situations like, oh, I can't freaking stand this guy. Okay, so entertain me I call this the fussy baby syndrome, where he's just, kind of the guy that's like never happy with the temperature, the location, the restaurant, you're not driving fast enough, you didn't take the right route, you get to the event and he's bored. I always do this. He just it's like a baby. He needs his pacifier and you can't figure out which pacifier he wants because you have to pick the right entertainment because he's so unhappy with himself that he requires external things to entertain him. So now, I want to preface this. Every gumball guy does not have all of these different flavors. There's many flavors to gumball love. I'm going to give you the 8 categories. So as you look at this, and this is going to be a lot of information to take in, but as you look at this, you're going to go, oh, okay, so that guy liked green and yellow, and the other guy was red and blue. And you're going to be able to see different patterns in different guys because there's so many different personalities. Their gumball guys can be on Wall Street or working in a diner. It doesn't matter. The common thread is not related to any socioeconomic status. We can't say white collar guys are bad and blue collar guys are good, or all firefighters are players. It doesn't apply. He's either a gumball guy or he's not, and you're going to find them everywhere, and you're also going to find good guys everywhere. And so once you can understand and see that once, as my therapist says, once the pattern you can see is repeatable once you see the pattern is predictable, you start to see, ooh, this is the pattern. He's seeking this flavor of attention over and over and over again. What I also want you to look at in yourself is, am I seeking this because this is the language that he's created? Are you sending sexy texts when you'd really rather be talking about current events? And if you try to bring that up, he leads you back to sex because he wants to get high. He doesn't want to get to know you. So it's a huge thing. Does he want to get high or does he want to get to know you? All right. So do you feel like, so I'm just going to kind of review those top 3. Do you feel like it always comes back to sex? Is he creating drama and making you feel crazy because you are being dramatic because he's provoking you? And just think about, man, is he doing that? And this is what I call putting the quarter in. What's the quarter? The quarter is whatever he has to do, and when he cranks that dial, that's the best one is like, oh, did you know that skirt's out of style? Drop the quarter, and then turn that dial, and then it's like, is he going to get the gumball out of you? Depends on how you respond. So what do you do to not give that guy the gumball? You don't respond. I actually had a guy do this to me one time in a bar, and I actually called him out and said, nice neg, not going to work with me. And his face was like, OMG, I can't even believe she said the word neg. It's like, yeah, I know. I've read Neil Strauss's book. I know these tactics, and I'm not going to have the conversation about my skirt being out of style, or I think it was about nail polish or something. It was just like, yeah, dude, it's lame. And it's totally lame when you understand it. And this is my job, why I'm put on planet Earth, to help you see these things so that you do not take this personally. There are pickup artists that are going to Vegas and spending $20,000 on a weekend to learn how to pick you up and get you into bed and make you think that they're going to be your boyfriend. It is down to a science with some of these guys. So, all right. So we have, does it always come back to sex? Does it always come back to drama? Or do you feel like you have to entertain him? Is he acting bored and you feel like there's just never enough that you can do to keep him satisfied? That's, you don't have to worry about the colors, but in case you care about the colors, sex me is red, drama is orange. I try to get drama as a fiery orange color. Entertain me is yellow, and compete with her green. So I thought it would be green with envy. So I was trying to keep these as close to, as the colors would be themes, but some of them just aren't really going to relate to the color. All right, so the green gumball, compete with her. or just compete. They like the feeling of you competing with someone else. So how do they do it? This is the guy that brings up his ex. This is the guy that's still married. Maybe he's quote unquote separated and he's just torn between you and her. And so you feel tortured and he's tortured. He just doesn't know what to do. But then he goes back to her and then he's texting you and then you feel like, this is the high. When we're in this situation, we have the illusion that he's going to grow tired of this and want one woman and walk off into the sunset. But the reality is a lot of guys like straddling both, and they like the attention that they get on both sides because, again, it creates intensity. So you being jealous is intense. That's a gumball. That creates a sugar high. He dates a younger girl while you're broken up, and then tells you about it. And so you feel competitive. You feel jealous. He'll say things like, I thought you weren't like other women. So then you feel like you have to defend yourself and compete with other women. Or if he looks at other women in your presence and makes comments about them or tells stories about other women. These are all stories from inside the Back to You Academy. I'm just thinking of the different women who said that, where, like you're on the date and he's talking about his ex or looking at women and commenting on their bodies and bragging about the kind of women that he's dated. This is going on. And this guy gets high off of bragging or provoking you to compete. So my girl in my academy, in that particular case, she didn't compete. She just sat there and didn't engage in the conversation. This is how you can really tell if the guy's after the gumball, because, we're all guilty of telling stories and then we're like, why did I tell a story that was stupid? But when he's telling the story, you'll be able to see because they're waiting for their gumball. They're waiting for the reaction. And then you'll get comments sometimes like, so are you mad or what's going on? Like, you don't have anything to say about that? And then you can be like, no, And you'll be able to tell that he was waiting for something. He was expecting a response because sometimes they are just ready to fight. They do want the drama. The blue gumball, the guy that has the blues. He wants pity. Pity me. Feel sorry for me. I have a sad story. My ex was so mean to me. Woe is me. Everything is a trigger. Money is tight. Work is really hard. I feel like you'll leave me. I'm not good enough for you. Oh, poor baby. I'm so screwed up. He'll say, why am I like this? I just don't understand. My dad or my mom was mean to me. They favored my sibling over me. Mew, mew, buckaroo. This guy has all of the problems. But as funny as I can make it sound, when you're super into the guy that has a sad story, you're leaning in, man. You're wanting to help out. You are ready and available, and you're consoling him and stroking his hair and, rubbing his back and drying his tears. I mean, I've done all of this with the guy that is just always sad, that always needs pity, that always needs something, but he's never investing. He's never actually, it's not reciprocal. So if the guy gets high on pity and every time you call him, he's like, yeah, well, he's like, Ross, hi. Imagine that kind of a guy all the time. Ross from Friends, by the way, if you don't know. But you know what I'm saying? Like, is the guy or a guy from your past, was this always the case where he was just living in a world where people felt sorry for him and that's what he loved, is feeling that pity, hearing things like, I'm so sorry that happened to you. And, oh yeah, your ex was mean to you. And then we start competing with her. So sometimes we're given, the blue gumball of pity and then the green gumball of competition. I would never do that. I'm going to compete with her. And I'm also going to give you pity gumballs. And so do you see how you can combine these? It's almost like, it's like horoscopes almost, but not really, but I don't know. I was trying to think of there's something else like this where you can combine other colors. Maybe it's like personality tests where there's different personality traits, but then maybe it's like the Myers-Briggs or the Gallup Strengths Finder, where there's 8 flavors, but if someone wants a certain combination, it's getting really interesting to see like what type of guy that creates. And that's what's going to get really exciting in this community, because you can say, well, I've got a guy who he always brings it back to sex. I'm always competing again with another woman. So it's sex, it's other women, and he's always in a pity party. And then somebody else might say, yeah, my guy doesn't really like the pity party, but he loves the chase. And that brings me to the purple gumball, the chase. Purple has nothing to do with chasing, but that was the best. That was the one that I couldn't relate the color to. So when guys like the chase, get ready for this. I have branded the chase the most ridiculous thing ever, because I've been really thinking about the guys that need the chase. And this is an old thing where we have felt like we have to create a game where there's a feeling of, I might lose her if I don't step up my game. So then we as women create a chase where we're kind of walking away, and then they have to step up or they're going to lose us, right? Well, the gumball guy who likes the chase, he likes to play a glorified game of peekaboo. So he doesn't want to chase you. He wants you to chase him. And so, and sometimes he wants to chase you too. So he likes the idea. So when you think about the chase, he likes the idea of adding fear to it. So when someone says, I like the chase, so why do you want to be scared? Why do you need to feel fear when you're pursuing a relationship with someone? Because wanting a chase means you want the threat of it taken away. So it's peekaboo. Hi, I'm here. Oh, I'm gone. Oh, peekaboo. And I'm, like, what are we doing here? These are not alpha males. Alpha males do not want to play peekaboo. The chase is not about fear of losing you. The chase is learning about you. The chase is the adventure, because we should be busy in our own lives. We should be active. We should be enjoying ourselves. We should not be sitting around waiting. So the chase will inevitably happen in a more natural way, not a peekaboo way, because our lives are full. Our lives should be full. We should not be just sitting around watching Netflix and, occasionally going to the gym. We want to have hobbies and interests and making plans. And so if someone wants to feather into your life gradually, it's not going to be difficult, but it's not going to be like you just have every evening open and you can just text endlessly all day, every day. Like, you have things you're doing. And so that's where a chase can naturally have a feel, because you are working, you're busy, and you really want to spend time with someone. So you're going to work to spend time with them and work around their schedule. And each time you spend with them is great, but they're not going to threaten to leave. It's a really bad misconception about relationships, because I have asked every single couple I know, did you feel like you had to chase? And they always say no. So trust me, I have done the research. I encourage you, ask people that are in great relationships. Did you feel like you had to chase her? Did you feel like that you were going to lose her? Did you have to play any games when you were dating? You will be amazed. Every couple's like, yeah, no, we didn't really do that because, and then there's always like a story. And then I just smile inside like, yeah, here again, there is no chase. There is no game. So chasing is the game. So, but what does this feel like when you're chasing him? You feel rejected because he is playing the game where he's hiding from you. And so you're texting and he's disappearing. When he resurfaces, it's exciting, but you're doing this up and down roller coaster thing. This guy is the one that breadcrumbs. One of my girls in the academy said, you're on the team, but you're sitting on the bench. It's like you don't feel like you're in the starting lineup, which even sounds worse, because it's like we want to be the star. You want to be the person. You want to be the one that he's focused on. You don't want to feel like, okay, we had this great conversation and now you've gone MIA for a few days. You're either in or you're out. It's got to be 100%. I was just talking to my therapist and we were talking about how, is it a woman thing to be 100% in or out? Or, is this just I said, is this, I had a guy say to me, you're just like all other women if you want it to be 100% all in or out. So I asked my therapist and he goes, well, a lot of men are happy with just being in the company of a woman without a lot of expectations. They're willing to hold hands or kiss a woman or have sex and not have it be a committed thing. And he said, not that that's a healthy thing. It's just a lot of men are happy with that. A lot of women can be happy with that too. However, that's actually abandoning yourself, because that's not a healthy connection to just be with somebody. It's actually a pacifying situation, right? When I'm just being with somebody and enjoying their company, but with no other intention, just to be in that moment, it's a gumball, right? It's a temporary fix. But you and me, we're the kind of people, and there are so many men out there that would have no interest in that either. I'm not going to be with somebody that I don't really see a future with. I'm not going to spend time with somebody that I don't feel like it could potentially grow into something else. I'm not going to choose to spend time with someone just to spend time. And so we are the all or nothing women, and we will find all or nothing men. Alpha males, they are all or nothing. They go all in, and they know what that means, and they're willing to take the risk because they come into the relationship satisfied with who they are. And this is why it is so important to do the work, to feel good about who you are, and to know who you are. So the Back to You Academy is really figuring out who the heck you are, because I didn't know who I was. I'm still discovering who I am, which who would know that this would be this big of a thing to even, we live in our bodies every single day. Why don't we know ourselves? Well, because we've spent a lot of time abandoning ourselves to be, I've abandoned myself many times to be the girl that hangs out with that guy to make him feel better, but he doesn't feel good enough about himself to pursue me regularly and to be vulnerable. So he chooses to hang out, and then when he gets uncomfortable, he leaves. And so if I choose to give that person time, that means I'm abandoning my own needs just to fulfill his. So really knowing yourself is knowing, what do you need? Are you happy with just texting a guy and never getting a phone call and letting it go on and on and on, and never having him say, hey, let's go out, let's hang out, let's spend time together? Because when we're really satisfied with our own lives, and I'm not saying, I'm satisfied with my own life. Am I 100% secure? Absolutely not. I'm overly self-aware and overanalyze endlessly. However, I'm satisfied enough to where when I'm interested in a man, I'm very curious. I want to know. I want to know how he takes his coffee. I want to see how his home is decorated. And if he has a pet, I want to know the pet. If he has kids, I want to know the kids. Like, I want to know about his life. I want to see and experience and go to movies. And I want to know what makes him laugh and what kind of comedy he prefers versus, you know what I mean? Like, I want to know all that stuff because I'm finally comfortable and satisfied and understand what I like and need in a lot of areas. I'm still exploring. I think it'll be a lifetime of exploring who we are and also exploring our partner. Because if we stop doing that, we become stagnant. And that's why relationships can get boring or unfulfilling, is because both people have stopped moving forward. They've stopped investing in themselves. So the Chase Me Gumball, we have two more after Chase Me. The Chase Me Gumball is really the person who is hot and cold. They're that person that stops and starts because they are afraid of making the investment. And ultimately, they're afraid you're going to see them and reject them. So if a guy wants you to chase him, it's because he's afraid if you catch him, you'll reject him. So if he can maintain a chase, then he can keep you in his life. But the second he decides to get in the car with you, now we're no longer chasing. Now we're together. Now we're listening, where I'm looking at you, I'm seeing you. And then the idea of you looking at him, analyzing him, and evaluating, because we are evaluating when we're dating, right? We're experiencing what we're evaluating. We're figuring it out. And for some people, that figuring it out and you looking at them and trying to decide if you want to go on more dates, they can't handle it. And they've decided to create a lifestyle of getting high off the peripheral. So sugar highs are the exterior. It has nothing to do with building the foundation. So foundational things look completely different. All right, so 2 more gumballs. Adore Me. So the Adore Me gumball is the guy that you feel like you have to be his cheerleader. You feel like all of the conversations lead back to him. You try to talk about your work and he brings it back to him. He wants extra recognition. Like if he sends you flowers, he's like, hey, what'd your coworkers think of the flowers? Or what'd your mom think about that gift I gave you? Or did your friends like this? Or talk to me and tell me about how people were talking about me. Tell me all the good things. They love that stuff. They want to talk about themselves. They like a captive audience. So they're the ones always talking. You're the one always listening. If you have a guy that loves, this is the pink gumball, Adore Me, think of little pink hearts, and he wants you to give him the googly eyes. And if he's not getting that, then he's feeling insecure. So the second you talk about yourself, his eyes shift down because you just took his drug away. But the second you engage and you're like, but you know what? You're so amazing. Then he's like, so gross when you think about it. But like literally, I have witnessed this, and I know you have too, where it's like you feel like you have to provide this all the time, or he's like irritable. And so this is when you know this is an addiction. So I believe, you guys, that gumball love and this addiction to these sugar highs is a real addiction. This is going to be my life's work to prove that attention is an addiction. You can get addicted to attention. And the attention is only as lasting as the gumball, as the sugar rush. And so if I'm addicted, I'm always looking for the supplier. And if I'm, depending on which color I'm looking for, so someone could be, if let's say there's a guy that wants the chase and you're telling him how great he is, he's not going to respond to that. He wants you to act like you're leaving. So, but you want to give him praise because you really think he's great. So you're like, man, you're so hot. You're this. Nope, not going to work. So as you start to evaluate this, it's like, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. It's crazy. Sometimes I can't even believe I've come up with this. Okay. So last one, prove yourself to me. I hate this one. This one is the white gumball. I can't even believe that I literally came up with these categories and then had a panic attack because I knew there were 8 colors in the gumball machine. And I'm like, oh my God, how many are there? Please make there. I was like, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, white. Oh my God, that's 8. There's 8 categories. It was that kind of moment because I knew I couldn't waver from any of the categories. I would have had to make, a light blue gumball or something. I would have had to create a color. This is the salmon color, but no, this is the white one. There's 8 categories. If you come up with another category, I will love you and hate you, but I will create a new category. If you feel like something has been left out that doesn't fit into any of these 8 core areas. All right. The guy that needs you to prove yourself, he gets high off of talking about, well, I have trust issues. My ex cheated on me, and so I just have a hard time trusting women. How many times have you heard that one? So what's our next immediate, knee-jerk reaction? Oh, well, I wouldn't cheat on you. I don't cheat. I'm not that kind of person. I've never done that before. And he's like, yeah. It's just hard for me to believe. So no matter what, he puts this obstacle, and you are always going to be giving him white gumballs to prove yourself that you're not like other people, that his experiences have led him to this point, and because you need to pay the price of other women's sins. Also, gaslighting fits under this. Gaslighting means that your feelings are not recognized. So he'll blame you for your feelings even though he caused them. So if he does something really mean and then you say that hurt my feelings, he'll say, oh my gosh, I didn't do that. And then you feel like you have to prove Yes, you did do that. And it hurt my feelings. And why do you do that? I don't do that. You're overreacting. So when you feel like that sense of, I have to prove myself, that's a high. He's getting high from that because it makes him feel in control. It makes him feel like he's right. It makes him feel like he's in the position of judge and jury and you're standing there pleading your case. So when you feel like that, I know it's frustrating, but you've probably never thought of it as I'm giving him the gumball. I'm giving him the satisfaction that he's accused me of something, and now I feel like I have to defend myself. So if some guy says to you, I have a hard time believing women are all the same, or I thought you weren't like other women, there's a reaction where you feel like I have to defend that. I have to say, yeah, I'm not like other women. But you know what? I respond to that like, well, if the way you see me makes me like all other women, that's who I am. So if that's your perception, I don't care. I don't care if I'm sure I am like a lot of other women. I'm okay with that. See, when you don't work to prove yourself, it's like, well, okay, if that's the label you want to give me, I don't care. Because then when you don't put the effort, no, I'm not, then what do they do with that? Because this is what happens when you're okay with yourself. When you know, like, I can tell you I'm super sensitive. Is that something I can work on? Sure. But I'm not going to be sorry for it all the time because it's just who I am. I've always been sensitive ever since I was a little kid. But people would tell me, you're too sensitive. And then I always felt like I had to prove why I wasn't instead of just owning it. Yeah, I can be really sensitive. And so when you own it, it's actually easier to work on when you own it because then you can sit in moments going, okay, this is one of those times when I'm being overly sensitive and I do feel this way and my feelings are valid. However, maybe they don't intend to give me this feeling. It's just who they are. Like that's how I work through it now, where when someone's telling you your feelings aren't valid and you feel like you have to prove yourself, you're giving them the control. So the white gumball, whenever you're giving that white gumball, whenever you're proving yourself, that's when you know, okay, wait a minute, this isn't equal. I'm not building a foundation here. We're not talking to each other from a place of understanding. And so now the conversation has become, he's in control. So to review, do you feel like you have to be sexual to get his attention? Do you feel like there's always drama? Is he always creating fights or are you always fighting with each other? Is he a fussy baby? Does he need constant entertainment? Are you competing with his ex? Is he unsure? He can't commit? Does he have a sad story? Is he depressed? Does he always need a pep talk? Is he inconsistent with text messaging? Is he hot and cold? Is he playing peekaboo with you? Does he fish for compliments? Does he always need it to be about him? Or do you feel like you have to prove yourself? Those are the 8 gumballs: sex, drama, entertain, compete, pity, chase, adore, and prove. Can't tell you how proud I am to have that list. And I hope this really empowers you to sit and look at this list. So go to gumballlove.com, go get on the email list, and I will send you this document that will help you visualize this so you can see, okay, because just hearing my voice say it, unless you wrote it down, so you have this podcast, you can listen to it over and over again. I recommend that you listen to it over and over again because I'm saying a lot of stuff really fast, but I want you to have these 8 flavors. People told me, Melissa, you should pay to give this out. You should charge for this. I'm not going to charge you for the 8 flavors of Gumball Love. Like, come on, this is the whole brand. However, it's just scratching the surface to know what the 8 flavors are and how to deal with it. Because yes, you can know, yes, you can understand. However, once you have fallen in love with this guy and you're in the thick of it, it's really difficult to get yourself out of it, even when you have the knowledge. So, because having the knowledge does not void your feelings, your heart connection, and the investment that you've made into that man. And so, even if that man is in the past, even if he's an ex, even if or maybe he's living in your house right now and you don't know what to do with all of this, please reach out for help. Please join the academy. You guys, the girls in the academy are killing it. I mean, I just got chills thinking about, a lot of them have been in several months and some over a year now. And the changes are just remarkable. The confidence level is huge. The guys that are getting blocked, oh my gosh, wish I could say the names. Some of these guys that got blocked finally, because my girls got their confidence high enough. And then this behavior that was so attractive now became repulsive and even boring and uninteresting. Because once you see the pattern and you watch it repeat and you see the addict come and get attention versus a healthy alpha male coming to build real connection, and you can see that stark black and white difference, it's unbelievable how it will change your perspective and ultimately help you walk away and live a beautiful life. Even if you're single for a while, I'm telling you what, single life is very underrated because you can be extremely happy single. And I'm leading that example right now. I refuse to be in any relationship that makes me feel less, that doesn't make me feel like I am being heard and valued and respected. And I will hold out until that person walks into my life. And until then, I'm going to show you the way to live a happily single life, to really go after your dreams, to do the things you've always wanted to do. I'm sitting here looking out the window at a view of Manhattan, all the way up the East River. The cars are going up and down the FDR. I'm in New York City. I came from a small town in Nebraska, and this journey has gotten me to an executive level in corporate America, building this brand, talking to you on a podcast, interacting with women in an academy, building an online course. I'm telling you, there's no way I could have done this without the journey I took with therapy, with the research, with building this community and interacting with all of you. You in this community made Gumball Love so much more interesting. You created dimension I could have never done on my own. So now I have the guilt because I know I need to write this book. And the 8 flavors, I believe, are here to stay. So those of you that joined the academy, that are in the academy now, we're really going to work through this and make sure, okay, do we all agree? All in favor of the 8 flavors, say aye. And then I'm going to go through and write this book so that it can be something you can hold in your hand as your manual. And I want you to be able to go to it at any point in your relationships and get the guidance that you need. So what I did not cover, and I don't have time to do on this podcast, is why we pursue the Gumball Guy and some of the different things that I've come up with from Dr. Debbie's podcast. There's just so much to it, you guys. But I'm going to leave you here because I think just absorbing the 8 flavors and learning Gumball Love, the appearance of connection hidden in temporary sugar highs. So here's the thing. We don't want to become gumball girls, and we become gumball girls when we start allowing ourselves to communicate in the sugar high language. If we're communicating in gumballs, if we're sending the sexy text back, if we're falling for the adoring him, if we continue to come to his pity party, guess what? You're just giving gumballs. And then does he give you gumballs back? Just temporary fixes? Is he able to just say that you're beautiful and you stick around for another week? You know what I mean? Like, we have to look at ourselves and say, am I accepting gumballs too when I really want more? But he's only at the surface level. And I'll tell you what, it becomes a huge turnoff when you start to see, okay, this guy just communicates at surface level. He never goes deep. So you're going to start to crave the real connection, where before you have been kind of programmed to be limited around these sugar highs. So now that the gumballs actually have categories and real names to them, now it's going to even be more powerful because you're going to be able to see, am I trading some adore me gumballs for a lifetime of real connection and happiness and fulfillment with somebody that really sees me for who I am underneath? I came up with a quote. Are they looking for what you have to offer, or are they focused on what threatens their confidence? Guys that are wanting gumballs are threatened by who you are. They can't handle the woman that stands, the strong woman, the beautiful woman. You have so much to offer. The fact that you have so much love to offer is intimidating. They don't know what to do with it because they know how to deal with gumballs, but they don't know how to deal with real love, somebody who's authentic. You're a lot of woman. So the kind of guy that's attracted to you, but he doesn't know how to have a real relationship with you. And I want you to be able to recognize that and not feel rejected by him, but be able to see that he rejects himself, that he abandons his own needs and settles for sugar highs. We don't settle for sugar highs. I want you to have the real deal. And the real deal starts with loving yourself in the authentic way and cutting yourself off from the sugar and finding what really satisfies you. What is going to bring your life meaning? That's much more than a sugar rush. That's the journey I challenge you to take, because that is where the beauty of life really is. And there's so much more to it, but I want to leave you on this. You are worthy. You are worthy. You already are enough. When you join the academy, I don't tell you to change anything about yourself. All I do is reveal you to you who you really are. That's all I do. You come in a tight rosebud, and all I do is help you show those petals. You open up, and it's like, oh my gosh, you've been there all the time. Those petals are there right now. There's no changing you. There's no becoming something different. You already are beautiful. You just don't realize it. You've undervalued every single petal. You've undervalued the gems, the diamonds, the rubies, the priceless things that you have to offer, because these guys are too afraid to take the risk, because it's a risk, right? I have to take a risk to be vulnerable, because I'm not going to get those gems and rubies and all the pricelessness and see that flower in full bloom unless I put some skin in the game, unless I say, I really like you and I want to get to know you better. And then the other person has to say, I do too. I'm so excited to see you every day. I love getting your text messages. And then you say, me too. I'm in this. I really want to see where this goes. Then it becomes real. Now we're vulnerable. Now we know, oh, this person could hurt me. I could hurt them. It's a risk. But until we're willing to be taking those risks, until we put skin in the game, we become vulnerable. We're just trading gumballs. And that's not building any connection. So when the gumballs are gone, you realize we never built a foundation. We never built friendship. Because sexy texts don't build friendship. Pity parties don't build friendship. Little games of peekaboo and chasing don't build friendship. And that is the foundation. So we have to look and go, is what I'm doing here building a foundation? Or am I just in gumball love? Am I just exchanging sugar highs? And that is the new gumball love definition. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say, because I feel emotional right now delivering this, because I know this is it. And I can feel those chains breaking off of you. I can feel that you finally can see that it's not that you're not enough. Because someone who wants gumballs, it just feels like, my gosh, can you just want me? Can I just be enough? Or do I always have to make you happy in some way? Do I have to entertain you? I have to show you a sexy picture? Like, when is it just going to be me? When is it just going to be enough? It's just the wrong guy. He's addicted to that. And he doesn't know how to really see who you are. He can't see the value. He stands in Tiffany's and has his choice of a diamond and walks out with a gumball machine because it'll make him feel good right now. He doesn't understand the value of the gem that's in front of him. And all you have to do is be able to recognize who looks at you and sees the gem. Who sees what's priceless? Who sees there's not another you? There's not another combination. And sometimes we can see this in our gumball guy. There's some gumball guys that if they just could connect to their own worth, then they could see yours. We see their worth and value. They're not all garbage men. Sometimes the gumball guy that's gotten in a habit of being addicted to this, if he could just come to terms with it, which I hope that we can find a way to rehab these guys. But so far I haven't figured that one out. But sometimes we see that they do have so much, but they don't see their own value. And so they just keep looking for the drug that's going to make them happy in the moment. And they don't see that this is a person, that you are the woman that would be there for them through everything. Like you're a rock. You're solid. The real deal. You wouldn't cheat. You would support him, his family, his children if he has them. I know you. If you and I hang out on this podcast, we know each other. You know me really well if you listen to this podcast. It's just who we are. And so my goal in this whole journey for you, and I just wrote this in an email, so I'm gonna share this with you. And if you get the document of these 8 flavors, you will get this email. But I'll read it to you here because I think it's important. I want to leave you with the 5 things that I want for you throughout this journey, because this is really my main goal for you. The whole point of this whole process is, 1, I want you to be able to identify this right out of the gate. I mean, to be able to just, to be able to see this is huge. I mean, if I could go back in time and be able to see and go, oh my gosh, this guy is like all about the red gumballs and that's all he wants, so I'm going to move on. It would have saved me years. I would have not had entire relationships. I don't even know where I would be with Gumball Love if someone else had created this and I consumed this content from someone else. I don't even know where my life would be right now. But I want you to be able to, here's what I pulled up. Sorry, my computer's so slow. Spot the gumball guy early on before you develop deep feelings. This is what I want for you. And I put, this is huge because it saves you months or even years, not to mention prevents heartbreak and avoiding another messy breakup. I don't want you to go through a breakup again. You might catch feels for certain guys and then realize they want the pity gumball all the time, or they're angry, or they're hung up on their ex, and you're going to pick up on things, and it's going to be a bummer sometimes where it's like, dang, I really thought maybe I had one. But the sting in the first couple of months is much less than dating them, falling for them, and then realizing it later. And so this is the gift I want to give you in this content. Number 2, identify when you are giving him gumballs and abandoning your own needs. Do you know that when you abandon your own needs, you become emotionally unavailable? This is a thing that I'm really going to get into too deeply because I never realized this was happening. I believe this is why I've been single as long as I have been, because I've been emotionally unavailable and I didn't know it because I was always abandoning myself to meet someone else's needs. And I've really examined who I've been doing that for. And I'm telling you what, I have stopped abandoning myself in many areas. And I feel energetically a space opening up for my husband. I can't describe it, but when we start really taking care of ourselves beyond the bubble baths and facials, like for real deep self-care, it's very powerful. So where are you abandoning your own needs? You may not even know. So I can't wait to help you through it if you join the Academy. I want number 3 for you to gain true confidence in yourself without the approval of others. We're always looking for someone else to approve, and I'm going to teach you how to approve yourself and be okay with who you are. If you are in Kara's group in the Style Your Mind Academy, I'm presenting in her group, and her theme is becoming the love of your own life, which can sound, maybe a little bit like conceited, like really you're going to become the love of your own life. However, I think that as I really examine that, it is exactly what we need to do, because when we really love who we are we're satisfied with ourselves, with our bodies, with our life, with where we are. It may not all be perfect. However, when you get satisfied enough and you love who you are, you fall in love with your life and all the things that are in it, you become so much more loving and you have so much more capacity to give. So becoming the love of your own life is really, even the Bible, love thy neighbor as thyself. So we forget the as thyself part. We're supposed to love ourselves and to love each other, but we can't love our neighbor unless we love ourselves, right? So even the Bible it's not in a selfish way. This is actually a selfless way. So I love the theme, become the love of your own life. Kara always is so talented in the way that she words things, and she just is so awesome at giving you a feel. If you don't know who I'm talking about, it's Kara Allwell from the Champagne Diet. So go to the Champagne Diet. She's amazing. It's been inspiring me, and I'm believing in Gumball Love for 4 years when it was a teeny tiny idea and I was barely getting started. Kara believed in me the whole way through. So, all right. Number 4, I want you to know your worth like you've never known it before. Know your worth like never before, and have the ability to recognize when others see your value. When you really start to connect to your value, when we do our first session together, if you work with me, it's so cool. I feel like God gives me the eyes to just see your value. And I'll think, man, I can't wait till she sees who she is. It's the most fulfilling part of what I do. Gosh, I'm emotional today. When I get to the heart of my why, this happens. Woo! Okay. This is the last one. Discover the relationships which truly invest in you and never settle for anything less. Wow, this is tougher than I thought. So if you get this email, it's from the heart. Trust me, all of my emails are from the heart because I don't know why it's hard for me to write emails because I get in my head about it, but sometimes I'll erase and write and erase, and then I'm like, just say it in your own words. These are your girls. They don't need it to be perfect. But when you have the form and the fancy, graphics, it feels like it needs to be all fancy and perfect. But so discover the relationships which truly invest in you and never settle for anything less again. I don't want you to settle for anybody that's just offering you a gumball. You need so much more. And for so long, I painted this brand as we're giving him gumballs. But you know what? We're getting them too. And yeah, they feel good, but they're so, it's just like the gumball itself. You chew it up and yeah, it's sweet and it's nice. It feels good. It feels good to get that compliment. Hey, it feels good to have a guy tell you you're sexy. It feels good for someone to lust after you, right? It is a pretty big high feeling. However, I can tell you that at this point, even when guys do that to me, I kind of get yeah, not what I'm looking for. Thanks. But I've connected so much more. Trust me, I have a long way to go of feeling super sexy, but sometimes, we pick apart our bodies so much, but now I can be like, you know what? Dang, I do have some nice legs. Don't have a 6-pack of abs. That's my weak area. But, I can find and look at the parts of my body that I know are great. And it is really powerful to focus on those things that really are. And we all have areas where we got it going on. So I have learned to really focus on those things. I've looked back at pictures and realized, man, I thought I was so gross and fat and ugly, and I wasn't at all. We have to really get at peace with our bodies and who we are. And even if we're not happy with, we want to lose of course I want to lose a few pounds too. However, I'm not going to let that stand in my way of connecting with somebody. Don't get so hung up on your body. Don't get so hung up on, if you're looking at the Kardashians, Instagram all day and you're just feeling like, oh my gosh, I wish I looked like her and I have so far to go. No, every guy is not looking for that. I'm not looking for every guy to have a 6-pack of abs. It's low on my priority list. So you just never know when there's an opportunity. And I want you to just really work on getting comfortable with your body, with who you are, loving your life. And I am here to help you in every step of the way. So thank you for being patient with me over the holidays. I know the podcast went on a break, but you can see I was very busy working. And even when I wasn't busy working, my mind was just crazy. And the holidays, and I've been traveling coast to coast 4 times in the last 2 weeks. It's been a little nuts, but I feel like things have calmed down now again. So I'll be back on schedule. And we are starting a brand new group in the Back to You Academy. So if this is resonating with you and you feel like, man, I want to do the work to get to where she's talking about, I feel ready. You're going to join such a loving group of women. And we had kind of a group that was core for a while. And I thought, oh man, what if we bring new people in? They are so great. I mean, it's just like the love in the group chat. Sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, oh, look at these beautiful souls. Just, hey, you can do it. And we're here for you. And how is your date? Or how are you feeling? What's going on? I'm like, sorry. It's an emotional podcast, but that's what I want. That's what makes my heart just beam. So, woo! It's the kind of cry where you can't even get words out. So, but I'm leaving this all in because I want you to hear my heart. I want you to hear what's behind this. This isn't just some brand, some Instagram thing. This is the real deal. This is the real stuff that if we put in this work and we love on ourselves, hey, just that alone, I'm telling you, is so fulfilling. It's so rewarding. It's so incredible. You are going to be in a completely different mindset. And then you're going to start to realize the kind of love that you deserve and the kind of love that you should expect to come into your life, because you are the kind of person that loves so big and so much that you just need a guy that can handle your capacity. You have bandwidth, girl. So we just got to find the guy that can handle it. And we're not going to settle for anything less. All right. I love you so much. If you can't tell, I love you so much. Even if I've never met you, I do this for you. And it might sound weird, but I think about who's out there, who's listening, who just downloaded the podcast that I don't even know. I'm talking to you, girl. I'm talking to you. I don't care if you're in Australia or you're in Iran or you're in Africa. We have women in Africa. I mean, it's just like, what is going on? I just look at the map. I'm like, someone in Africa is listening to this podcast. Someone in Iran. I mean, like empowering women in places where they don't have a voice and being able to give you strength and understand that you are worthy. I mean, what an honor to be able to be in your ears right now, that you're listening to my voice. I will never take that for granted. So I'm here for you. I love you. I can't wait to work with you. If you join the academy, whether it's now or it's later, whenever you feel ready, the door is open. So thank you so much. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to GUMBALLLOVE.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.